Hi there, everyone. Hi, welcome back to the series, the Extraterrestrial Messages and Revelations series. So, today I'm going to be talking about really interesting extraterrestrial messages and revelations. They have asked me to talk about Jupiter and about the moon Europa because there's a lot going on there that they wanted people to know about. So let me talk about Jupiter first. And the focus their focus for this episode was about life, really, and maybe some of the topography of Jupiter and of Europa that was interesting, and it was like a revelation to me, things that I didn't know about. And maybe many people don't know about. Maybe some people may know about them. I mean, I'm probably not the only person getting messages like this in the world, obviously, but I am getting a lot of them, and they're coming successively, and they're not stopping. I've got like a big notebook, and it's full of messages and revelations. You know, it looks so funny because it's like Jupiter and I don't know what, and which planet, and it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And the ETs have been amazing as well. I honestly cannot thank them enough. The ones that I am working with, and they are gorgeous, beautiful, loving energies that I have not. Like sometimes I feel guilty because in the past I used to think about them in a different way because of that, maybe what the media used to portray and stuff like that, and maybe because sometimes people think that fear sells, so therefore they scare people with things about, information about extraterrestrials, so they start selling their material, but that's not really my goal. My goal, the first and foremost goal that I have, because if you look at my channel, I can do many different things, with revealing the extraterrestrial messages and revelations. The main goal that I have is to get the information out there so that it can reach as many people as possible so that they know the truth. This truth will be revealed, like I said, and I'm going to keep going on about it. It's going to be revealed during the year. They're saying by the end of this year, there's going to be some kind of big event that is going to expose this truth. But they said to me, the message was by the end of 2023, the original message. So I tried to dig deeper into it. They're saying by the end of this year. I'm not disbelieving them or discrediting them, but I'm only human. Yeah, I sometimes think, well, maybe it's going to take a bit longer. Maybe it's not going to happen now. Of course, I want it to happen. But that's what they're saying anyway. Okay, they said to me to say, by the end of 2023, and the original message was that it would be this year. Okay, so but the message I need, the message that you can quote me on and hold me to is by the end of 2023. Okay, for some reason I feel safer saying that, but I don't think it's gonna take that long. Usually my predictions are correct. I'm yet to have a prediction that does not come true. Okay, and did not come true. If you look at my channel, I'm going to be posting hopefully tomorrow or the day after about another prediction that I made in my psychic, apart from the fire in London and the disaster in London that happened, the calamity with the fires and so on that day, which is very sad. There's something else that they had predicted in that reading that has come to pass. A few things. But this one was a bit significant because I found out about it yesterday. And I didn't know about it. My friend said to me, oh my God, your reading, you said something in the reading. You said something about this and that. And I was like, wow, yeah, I did. And I was like, yeah, okay. So I need to highlight that and post it on the channel because it gives me credibility. And it makes people understand that, psychics can exist, that we exist, and that it's a very real phenomenon. And there's nothing wrong with it. It's like a human trait that anyone can develop, I think. It's just all about the need to be the training and having the genetic background that supports that. So let's go straight to the Jupiter information. So they said sadly there is no life on the surface of Jupiter. Okay. They said that it plays a big role in the stability of the solar system, stability of Earth. It's like a shield and a magnet that attracts negative things and negative energies, and it also projects positive energy towards the Earth. It affects a lot of business work, a lot of expansion and stuff like that we know about as spiritualists. We know that. They don't have any differentiation between the spiritual information and the actual physical information, because they've advanced so much that they've understood the physical things that are behind what we call spiritual today. We can't see it, we can't understand it, but they're so advanced that they understand the technical stuff behind why Jupiter creates an energy of expansion and wealth and so on when people work, when the planet is at a certain position in the sky. If someone prays or does a ritual or something like that for expansion, for money, they get it. And they always say to me, and I'm like, wow, this is amazing, isn't it? They said, no, this is science. This is science. The reason is it can be proven scientifically, but your technology is still not there yet. It's the same way people used to think of doctors, like us doctors in the past, like magicians, or in like people who were like divinely, like, I don't know, anointed, because we had the knowledge of the herbs and how they would treat people from certain diseases and so on. So people revered us. No one understood really how it would work, but they still worshipped God. Everything was okay, and they used the services of doctors. The same thing today. If you find someone spiritual and who can do things that seem like magic to other people, they are actually technology, and there are specific designs for it. And when I work with it, because of my heritage, like I've said before, the French and African and Moroccan and so on, a very mixed background, but I'm mainly influenced by the African and the French, because it's revolves around scents and herbs and things like that. There's designs and instructions of how to do it and how to flow with the energy of the universe and stuff like that. So I'm sure at some point in the future it's going to be science, and I have an episode about this that they said, the extraterrestrials said, do not doubt spirituality. Study it and see how it works, okay? Because it definitely does work, okay? It definitely does work, whether in a positive or negative way. If you know the secrets, you'll make it happen. Obviously, both have repercussions, but when you do it to help people, you get help. When you do it to hurt people, you get hurt. It's very simple, okay? It's self-defense, but when you defend yourself, I would say don't go specifying what you want to happen to people, because you'll hurt people. Let God be the judge. Let the Most High be the judge of what should happen if you have been targeted by anything or anyone. Okay, don't specify, don't point your energy towards anyone. And that way, by the way, you get the best results. You get surprising results. Okay, when you don't specify, it's very interesting. So they said that there is microbial life up in the atmosphere, and there are things of Jupiter like in the clouds. I think it's in the clouds, yeah. There is actually water there, they said, which I didn't know about before. And then there are things that look like spiders. I saw them, they looked like spiders, but it was a very smooth and black spider, and I don't know how many legs. It had 8 legs, I think. Yeah, I'm sure about 8 legs. But it was jet black. It looked so beautiful. It looked like a work of art. But then there's also other crustaceans. They're of all shapes and forms. but in the clouds of Jupiter, they said that's as far as it goes. Really, you'll find small creatures like that, but there's no kind of intelligent, life like what we call today. I don't like that term, sentient, because I think everything feels on some level and understands things on some level. But anyway, what we understand, majority of humanity today at the stage of evolution that we're in development, when you say sentient, it means something that actually has a consciousness, that is completely capable of feeling the positive and the negative and discerning. So there's the lives there, they are not like that. They're just like primitive forms of life that are in the clouds. Underneath the clouds, they said there is a very rocky terrain. I don't know if scientists know about that. They probably know, but I've never read about Jupiter or anything. I like to do these things blindly when I do these extraterrestrial messages and revelation things, and then check after I do it. So I'll check tonight. But I think that they said that there's rocky things underneath, rocky-like terrain, and there are extraterrestrial bases on Jupiter, okay, and on its moons. I'll get to them other moons. Europa has a lot of extraterrestrial bases, and I'll be talking about that in detail because I saw some amazing things. It was incredible. It was really, they say the truth is is more than, I wouldn't say scarier, but they say the truth is more powerful than fiction. Like, it can be more powerful than fiction, and that's what I found with Europa. It was incredible. So they have bases there. The reptilians, the good reptilians, wise reptilians have bases there. The tall whites do not have bases there. On Nordics, they do not have bases there. The greys have bases there as well on Jupiter, from the species that we know. With Europa, I discovered that there are a lot of alien species that no one knows anything about that exist. Okay, I've not seen these mentioned anywhere, the ones that I'm going to talk about. Okay, they're incredible. So from the ones that we know, these are the ones that have bases on Jupiter. Okay, so they said go into Europa now. So Europa, as we all know from science, I think we all know from school science that it's an icy moon. And it has a thick sheet of ice that's covering all of the moon. And this sheet of ice appears to be like solid, and nothing can go into it, nothing can go out of it, as far as people thought. Now, there are very important revelations here, okay, and I pray that the scientific community and people who are scientifically inclined benefit from them, because I guarantee you that if you follow the trail of what I'm saying here, you will find that it's the truth. Now, in the ice surface of Europa, there is only microbial life. That's, say, bacterial life and viral life, etc. Okay? There is life on Europa. This is the first thing to establish. The other thing is that the core of the planet is warm. It keeps the moon is warm. It keeps the moon warm. They said oxygen enters the ocean. There's an ocean underneath the ice between the core and the ice. Oxygen enters this ocean through the blue-colored areas on the moon. That is to say, mostly from the poles. If there's a North Pole or a South Pole in the moon, that's where the oxygen enters and is circulated throughout the whole ocean, the majority of it. Okay? apparently these are not the only areas where oxygen is circulated. They said that if they map the whole moon using instruments that can detect this, they will find that there are patches where there's more oxygen exchange than others. So I was like, wow, this is interesting. So, okay. So these blue colored areas, this is where the oxygen comes. I don't know what the connection of blue is with oxygen. But as far as I knew, I think it was copper or sulfur that burned blue. But that's not burning. That's basically the water in cup. It appears blue. When it's that blue, there's oxygen in it. When it appears like white or red or like rust-like, that's not where a lot of oxygen. They said They said that the moon Europa has both aerobic and anaerobic life. So it contains both life that requires oxygen to develop, and there are life forms that do not need oxygen to develop or to live and develop. They said that there is lots of life there, fish that are eerily similar to the fish on Earth. However, and then they showed me a vision at this point, and the fish looked huge. It looked like I don't know how to describe it, like a skyscraper. It was moving in the water, and I was standing there in my vision and looking at it, and it opened its mouth. And when it opened its mouth, there were like wires, or they didn't look like teeth. They looked like wires, or not wires like as in metal wires, but cartilage or something, part of the skeleton that was coming out, and it was like wires, but it wasn't. It looked almost like it was stitched around the mouth of the fish. And I can guarantee you, one day when they get there and they find everything that they want to find, probably we won't be alive. Probably it's going to be our children or our children's children. When they do that, they're going to find these black fish. They're very black or lead-colored fish, and they are got these wires apparatus on them. But it's like square. It's not even. It wasn't even a circle. It was a square or rectangle. Like it was. You know, if you have a stapler and you staple, you got the fish and you stapled the lip like that, intervals. That's how it looked. There was no sign of trauma, there was no sign of anyone manipulating it. It just looked like that. There probably was a reason for it, I don't know. Or a reason for why it developed that way, obviously, from an evolutionary base. On Earth, the fish here are very similar to the fish in Europa. But there are obviously different species. Okay, and I'm going to that a bit later. There are mammals on Europa, and many mammals. They said to me there's many dolphin-like creatures, and there's many whale-like creatures. These can be considered sentient, but they're not. They said there's sentient, intelligent life, but it's not it's at the same level as you would find here on Earth, like how dolphins would be or whales would be intelligent. Okay, they're clever creatures, especially dolphins, and lovely creatures. I love dolphins. So the ones on Europa have this kind of development, and they are as intelligent as humans. They said to me, they're like as intelligent as humans. So there's not really any other way to say it. They are as clever as we are. That's it. So I love it. I think it's great. It's amazing. Honestly, it's amazing. I always felt that Europa had something in it, but I never went into it in this detail, because obviously in the past I didn't know really that I could communicate like this with the ETs. I'm grateful for it, and I'm grateful that you guys are listening. I love you guys so much. So I appreciate you all, honestly. I've never ever treated anyone lightly, and I don't intend to. I love you all. So the life is DNA based. Most of it is DNA based. Most of it, let's say, because there'll be RNA, there'll be DNA, but there are thousands of species there, many different species, and some are much more beautiful than the dolphins we have or whales. They are also larger, bigger. And they showed me there was a series of underwater cliffs and trough-like places where these fish could sit and rest and so on the base. As you go towards the surface, anyone who's thinking of sending a mission to Europa, you're not going to find a lot of life on the top of the surface. But if you go down the ocean, deep to where the actual base of the ocean is, you'll find incredible life. The thing is, it's not that colorful, but when it's colorful, it's breathtaking. Okay, you find, they said, the colorful ones are as you go higher from the base, or from the ocean bed, basically. The ones on the ocean bed are less colorful, apparently, for some reason. So these are big. I saw one of them. I saw one of the whales. It looked absolutely harmless. It looked gorgeous. It looked big. Massive big. Like, I don't know even how to describe it. It's like, probably from what I saw, hundreds of meters long. And it had like the snout, the same kind of shape of the whales here, and the head was looked like a dome, and the body was kind of smooth but kinky, like when you have like this, when you have a deflated balloon of some kind, partly deflated, and then it goes a little bit kinky, but then it carries on, and it was one solid white color, like ivory white color. It was gorgeous. When it moved in the seabed on Europa, it appeared to me like it made everything else move with it. There's a lot of things there that started moving with it. There are ET bases. The bases are more towards the South Pole, on the sun-facing surface. There is a big triangular base that belongs to the tall whites. It looks like these craft that they call TR3B, but these are. It was huge, black and triangular, massive though. Like if you had like 1,000 TR3Bs, you put them together. It's big. Anyway, it's big. I don't know about the scales. I've always been like a bit weird with scaling things, but it's just massive. It was huge, massive. I couldn't see the end of it basically, but I could see it was triangular for a split second in the vision, and then I was close, kind of close to it, but when I was close to it in the vision, I couldn't see the end of it. I just saw the tip. The triangular ones, like this one, like the black one, they belong to the tall whites, or the Nordics as well, the Pleiadians. They are guardians, protectors of Earth and of other planets, and they operate from that base there. Then the Greys have a base there, but the Greys base is a bit oval, looking at circular shaped, more oval and circular shapes. I don't know what the reason for this is. And the Greys ones bases were white in color, like an ivory white in color, and they had stands that was standing them off the bed, of the seabed or the ocean bed. They looked gorgeous. They had something that looked like glass. You could see them all the little beautiful funny greys walking inside. By the way, never gonna stop telling you guys that the greys are so funny, they're hilarious. They even, like, I don't know, I'm not seeing anything as funny as a grey recently. They really are funny, genuinely funny. So they had this big base there. If you understand with them and what goes in their minds and how they think, it's extremely funny to us. It's like extremely funny. So they are quite innocent, to be honest, inside. You know, much more innocent than we are. Well, most of us, let's say. Right. So there was also another species. I saw many other species, but I'm gonna talk about one that was very striking for me. Right. So these ones, they said to me that they come from around not the arms of the Milky Way, but a little bit inwards towards the center of the galaxy. These ones looked like trees, literal trees. Okay, they had a tree shape. They had 7 fingers and toes. They reproduced like trees because I could see them. They weren't wearing any clothes, and they were shuffling around. And I thought to myself, when I saw myself, I was like, what the hell? What is this? And then they calmed me down, and then they said to me, these are from the middle of the Milky Way. They're when I connected their energy, I felt okay. And I felt safe, actually, because they were very protective of my energy as well. And they were mindful of the fact that I found them a little bit weird and scary, like, you know. I haven't seen a tree like that since, you know, The Wizard of Oz. It was like really interesting, but it's not as comical as the trees that we find. But mainly, the point I want to make is that they had a part for them that was colored like the color of a dark bark of a tree, and then there was the green portion, and it was very stringy body, is how I can describe it. But to me, if I would liken it to anything, I would say a tree. And they had 7 digits, 7 fingers, 7 toes, and they reproduced in a way that was similar to trees. That's what the Nordics and the Greys told me. They reproduce something like trees. Okay, they have like parts of them that they discard, that are living, that can develop into a new one of them, a baby, one of them. But the only difference is that, like, when we would perceive trees here, they have the seedlings and shoots, and we don't feel if they care about them or not. But the ones here do care about them. Okay, I just think that people don't feel it, therefore they assume they don't, as ignorant as we've always been. Our species, you know, or most of us think like that, you know, sadly. But this is changing. The Earth is changing into a better place. But these ones are much more, lively than the trees that we have here. Obviously, they move and shuffle around, and they're very pleasant and peaceful and protective of Earth. So this was my short journey to Europa. It stopped here, but this is basically an overview of what is going on there. If anyone has any questions, please, guys, you know I love you very much. You know I don't care about, you know, myself that much, as long as you guys are happy. So ask me a question if you want me to answer you. If there's anything specific you'd like to know, I'll go with it to the ETs and ask them. And also, if you have any suggestions for videos, I basically have a list that I've already made about videos. The next video is going to be about Ganymede, the moon of Jupiter, but because they said I had to talk about that one. I'm not going to talk about any of the others, apparently, apart from Ganymede and Titan, I think. And then I'm going to move on to Venus. if you guys have any questions about this one, Europa, it's fantastic. And they said that it plays a big role in the homeostasis of the Jupiter, and like, you know, it's got a lot to do with Jupiter. It balances Jupiter, they said. So if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you don't, then the next video is going to be about Ganymede. And if any of you has had experience like mine, please raise your voice, because that gives us credibility when there's more than one person who's been through the same thing. Because obviously I know my predictions are true, and I know what I'm talking about. I'm a very powerful psychic, and I can remote view very clearly, thank God. But I don't think I'm the best, and I don't think that the other people will not have experiences like I've had. So if you've got any experience that's similar to this, please let us know in the comments. I love you guys very much. May you be blessed, protected, healthy, prosperous, and loved always. We need a lot of love. We need all of us to be close to each other and love each other and do the best by each other, because the future of the planet success in the future of this planet is going to be measured by how loving a person is, not by how clever they are and how deceptive they are of people making business and so on. The future of success is going to be measured by the genuine way, loving feeling that a person has towards others on this planet, okay? And the planet is rebelling against the people who are abusing it or abusing the energy for their own personal gain. I'm grateful to be talking about this ET thing. I've been called into it by the ETs. I am protected by them. If you go and see in my other videos how protective they are of me, honestly, it's really powerful. And I believe they said to me that they protect others as well, like me, in all over the world, who are like positive and just want to spread love and don't want anyone to bother anyone really, and just be loving and have this agape love between us, and calm down, for God's sake. Everything's gonna be okay. But it will be measured by love and how much love people have towards each other, okay, and how much some love a person has inside them. That's the future of the planet, okay, and you'll live to see it, okay. I don't mean be like hug everyone you see on the street, but just try as much as you can within your own capacity to do a good thing. We all know what a good thing is and what a bad thing is. It's very clear, isn't it? So just try and do a good thing every time you have a chance to. I love you guys so much. Be blessed, and I will see you guys in your next episode, which is going to be about Ganymede. And lots of hugs from us. Be well, be healthy. I pray that God keeps you well and healthy and prosperous and loved. Amen. Thank you guys so much. See you guys in the next episode.